Welcome back to our painting videos. Remember I did the painting at the races, and this is lesson number 2. We're going to paint trees. We're going to try and paint trees. So this is the lesson on how to paint trees. I'll start off with perhaps a summer tree, and then an autumn tree, then a winter tree, and we'll see how we go from there. But the one thing I want you to remember at this stage is the way you make trees look realistic and visibly nice is to remember where the light is coming from. Decide where you want the light to come from and then stick to that. Once you've decided where the light is coming from, this gives you shadows on the trees and where to put the shadows on the branches and all over. So I'm just going to put a little arrow there, because when you get to my age you forget. That means that the light is coming from the top left there. Right, first thing we're going to mix a bit of colour. So I'll start with a summer tree, which I'm mixing. In fact, I'll put it on the screen if I can. I'm going to mix a green for the tree first. And this is the colour called cadmium yellow. Lovely colour. Nice little mix of that. Then I'm going to wash my brush out again and add to it some Winsor Blue red shade there. That's a nice colour, lovely colour. And drizzle that into there and you'll see we get a lovely green. That's nice. Perhaps a bit more yellow in there. Let's get the lightest tones. And then what we can do is when we paint the tree, we can then put the darker colours in by adding a little bit more blue and give you a shadow. I'll show you that as we go along. But that's the mix. Let's start. And I put the leaves in that in first because being a Yorkshireman, it saves me having to paint the trunk right through and wasting it. So just use the side of your brush. Just pop some down there like that. Leave a few holes for the birds to fly through. Because it doesn't always fill in with the leaves, does it? So just using the side of your brush, bring it down. And this without drawing. You don't need to draw. Let the brush do the drawing. It's easier for you. And then at the bottom it flattens out like that. Right, that's the basic colour. So let's put a trunk in there now. Use a smaller brush, of course. So number 6 there. And let's put a dark colour in. This time we'll paint, let's see now, I think we'll have some burnt umber in there, that dark colour there, burnt umber, lovely colour. And if it's too nice, I'll add a touch of blue in there, that'll darken the colour down a bit, so let's darken the colour down a bit, see what happens. Oh yes, that's a better colour. That'll darken the trunk down. Just do it. And I've got a piece of test paper. That's a good idea, to test it on a piece of paper so that you don't make a mistake on your painting, and then put it on a test piece and then away you go. This is a trunk. So it's quite a big tree, so let's put a decent sized trunk in there, shall we? And of course, draw it up as through the tree. We can see the holes now, can't we? Up round there, through there, through there, through there. Of course that branch goes up there and go like that, follow up through there. And of course imagine it coming up from there, behind the leaves, and then it'll come up round there, won't it? And then you'll see some through this little gap there, and some through that one there, and probably a touch through that one there. You might get the odd branch coming out like that as well. So basically, that's our base colour of the tree. But now, we've better put a bit of grass in there, haven't we? We need a bit of grass for it to stand on. So there's the touch of grass there. It's standing on some grass. Right, so the sun, as we've said, is coming from the top left, So we have to darken the right side of the tree. Let's use that green again, but darken it this time by adding a touch more blue. There's our colour. There's our yellow. And let's have some more blue in there. I should darken the colour down some more. Now that darker colour, we can put that where the shadows would be. So if the sun's coming from top left there, you're going to get shadows down here, aren't you? Underneath the underside of the tree there, like that. Where there's an underside, it'll be darker. So let's put some darks in there. And it'll also be dark on the right hand side because that's away from the sun. It doesn't have to be sort of accurate. This is just a practice thing you're doing. But it's nice to put a little bit of darks in there. And away you go, a bit of dark in here. And of course the bottom side, under the side of the tree, will be dark as well around there. And it's nice just to also flick the odd little rogue branch out like that. And pick one out there, and perhaps one or two around here like that. And there's our first tree. That's our summer tree. And of course, what we need to do, if you like, I've mentioned about the sunshine, we need to mix some shadow colour to indicate the shadows as well. So we'll mix some French ultramarine blue, just there. Pinch a touch of that umber there. That should give me a nice shadowy colour. Let's try that. So of course the shadow will be down here, won't it? On the floor. Because the sun's from there and the shadow will come down here, drop down here. And you might even get a touch of this shadow on the tree itself. Darken it even more down there. I love painting trees, and to watch it grow in front of you, especially when you put the shadows in, because it brings it to like a three-dimensional look. And of course, what I want you to do is you keep practicing these and having a go at them. And then what I hope to do is at the end of these lessons, if there is an end to it all, is I want you to have a portfolio of paintings which, when all this coronavirus is finished, you'll be able to take them round and bore the neighbours with them. That should be really nice. That's our first tree. No problem? Dead easy. Right, let's tackle our autumn tree. Now, our autumn tree is slightly different in as much as you'll find that the leaves are dropping off, and of course there'll be less leaves on the tree, so we're going to be more branches showing. So let's mix a bit of autumn colour. Now that number 4 colour there, that's the raw sienna, burnt sienna I should say, sorry. Gives you nice autumn colours, autumn. And of course, not only that, autumn, we can use some like yellow as well. That's a nice autumn colour as well, the yellow. And even a touch of cadmium red there, because sometimes it's red, isn't it? But that's our colours for the tree when we get around to it. We'll put a bit of colour in there, let's see what happens. Similar technique, but not as strong this time because the leaves it's not as thick. So some of these leaves will be a lot less intense because there's more branches showing. leave more holes. That's what you want to do. Of course, at that stage, what you can do is add a touch of the yellow in there, because sometimes you get yellow on these trees, don't you? Well, nice yellows and things like that, and some of that red, because you get the autumn tints. They're a riot of colour. So put the autumn tints on there. Remember where the light's coming from, top left. So the brightest leaves will be on the left-hand side there, where facing the sun. Just remember, always remember where the light's coming from. And that doesn't apply to this exercise, it applies to all the paintings you do. It's important to keep the light in the position you started with. In the past I've judged painting competitions, and I found out some of the mistakes that people make. It's easily done. Is they sit there and paint a picture on site, and as the sun goes round, the shadows are painted as and when they see them. In other words, the shadows are all in the wrong place. So you've got to decide on the direction of light and then stick to it. That's important, that. Right, let's put a bit of dark in there as well, because there's some darks on this side here. Put a bit of that dark brown in there, just to kill some of where the shadows are. Don't worry about the trunk yet. We'll sort that out in a minute. Just keep underside all the time. Remember where the light's from. Keep it coming. Let's have a little bit more yellow in there. Oh yes. Bit of brightness in there. Wash the brush out. Now let's introduce a trunk then. And then of course there's more trunk because there's less leaves, isn't there? So let's depict that as we see it. Put some burnt umber. I'll show you the colour if you like. That's this colour here. And a touch of blue, a bit more burnt umber in there. That gives it a nice colour. Right, you don't need a lot, but just, there's a trunk, go similar to where that one is. It's not the same tree, but I'm just trying to keep it sort of looking similar, so that you've got continuity. Now then, we've got the branching, they're more careful, aren't they? Because you can see more of them. So be careful. Take it up through the tree, like that. Another one up round here. Continue it on like that. That one's going there, isn't it? So you can see more trunk because there's less leaves, isn't it? It's obvious it's going to happen, isn't it? As soon as you realise these things, the painting becomes easy. And all you do is paint the bit of trunk that you need. Make it a bit thicker there because the branch is too thin. Give it a bit more solid look to that tree. Of course, where the gaps are, we'll get branches coming through there, branching up to there, over there, and it's just nice to have our little tree there. And of course, in autumn, the grass changes colour as well, because it's what we call a tired grass. It's not got the vibrance of spring grass, spring greens, or the summer greens. It's more an autumny green, which is you can mix. Let me show you how to mix an autumny green. Just for a bit of something for it to stand on. Get a bit of colour in here. I'm not going to use a yellow this time. I'm going to use a colour called raw sienna there, and this will give me, with a touch of blue in there, will give me a touch of ultramarine, French ultramarine in there, and that will give me a more subdued green, what I call tired green, because it's been there all summer and it's getting ready for winter. So we'll have a tired green here, see, it's less intense than that there. So there's your tired green underneath there. And of course, don't forget that when you've got these colours, they don't just stay on the tree, do they? They rest on the floor and stuff like that. So you're gonna get leaves that's fallen on the floor. So that's going to happen as well. That's when the garden gets a damn nuisance. You got to sweep all the damn things up. But still, that's nature. So we've got a bit. So we've got one or two bits and pieces around there. And then we'll put some a bit more dark into this side over from there. The light from the top left. So let's go put some more dark down here. There. Yeah, let's get darker. Let's tone it down a bit. Make it more subdued. That's it. And what it does, the darkness, it pushes the leaves under, so you're making it more three-dimensional, so you're looking into the tree and not just a flat surface. We've got to stop using that flat surface and make it a three-dimensional appearance. You can do it, no problem. Just add a bit more colour into there, and away we go. And of course, like in summer there, we're going to need a shadow, aren't we, with a tree. So a bit of French ultramarine, blue again, just there. A touch of the dirty brown, the burnt umber. That'll make a subdued blue. And we'll put the blue into here with the lights coming from there, so it's going to be down here, isn't it? Lovely. So that's where the darks are. Now that's our autumn tree. Now the most difficult tree to paint, of course, is the winter tree, because there's no leaves to hide behind. It's got to be painted. It's got to be a trunk, hasn't it? So let's use this dirty brown colour. I like this dirty brown colour. It's good. Show it on your palette. That's that dirty brown. Mix some in here. This is one way of doing it. Nice dirty brown there. Wash the brush out. But also what I want to do is, I've got to make myself a spot on the palette. So I'm going to clean that palette just there. I need a space there. And in that space, what I want to do is I'm going to put in some, that first colour, that lovely raw sienna. That's that colour. Put some of that in there. Touch your water with it. And away we go. So I'm going to first of all paint the tree with that pale colour. That's how I go from here. I start at the bottom and paint them as trees grow. They grow upwards, don't they? Don't try and start it from the top, or what happens is you'll put thick branches at the top and thin ones at the bottom. And believe me, it looks rubbish. So just take it up and thin it out as you go along, and when you get to near the top of the tree, if you can't go any thinner, use the rigger. So there we go, we can start getting that up there, and we can use the rigger a bit more now. Right, I'll leave that there, and then concentrate, change brushes. Let's have the rigger. That's our fine brush, which is nice and easy to use. This is the rigger. So now I can go to these narrow branches like this, very thin branches. Bring these branches out like this, thin them out. Some around here like this. and there we've got what is basically like a structure for the canopy of leaves that are going to be there sort of in spring. But just now it's a winter tree. So let's just, I'll put another branch down here. And perhaps another one just here. Right, that's nice. So that dark dirty brown I've mixed is nice because that's that colour. I'm going to get some of that now. And then ask the question, where's the light coming from? It's coming from the top left, isn't it? So the darkness on this trunk will be on the right, won't it? So while it's still wet, we'll drop in some of this dark colour on the shadow side. That'll make the trunk appear three-dimensional. It'll seep round, you'll see it seeping round the colour there and make it look like a round trunk. Dead easy, you don't have to do it, just let the brush do it. Just flick them in like that and it gets a bit more realistic. At times I look at this brush and I think, oh, I wish I could paint like that, but the brush does it for you. So don't try and help, let it do it. Lovely. Keep to the right hand side, away from where the dark's going to be. Just keep flicking them in, and away we go. And there we have sort of a winter tree. But there's two schools of thought on this. Now, a lot of people like them like that. I'll put a bit of something for it to stand on. The ground will be a miserable, perhaps a grey colour because it's winter, so we don't want anything smart down here, do we? It's just miserable. So it's something to stand on again. But there's two schools of thought here. People sometimes like them with the canopy like that, bare. And other people like it with like a suggestion of fine twigs around the top. Now, when my class is on the ships and things like that, they're arguing amongst themselves who wants bushes and who don't want twigs. So in the end, what we have to do is put them on so people can see what they look like. But there's one tip here, you can't take them off. So don't try and take it off because it won't come off. So let's put a touch of twigs. This is like I want you to use a brush which is a biggish brush, but use what I call a dry brush technique. In other words, there's not much water on it at all. So you're going to be dry brushing. This dry brush, you just use the side of the brush and just flick it in like that. And it just gives you the feeling of twigs on the end of the winter trees. It's, as I say, once they're on you can't take them off. So if you don't like it, tough. But when you do yours, don't put the twigs on. But at least the ones that do like it, they'll be happy, won't they? So let's see how we go with that. And if you go over the top of it, something like that, just show the other branches. And if you come and put some twigs where there's no branch, well, we can rectify that, can't we? We can put a branch in like that. Put one to it. Give it something to hang on to. And I think that is, 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 I think that it for trees today. I mean, that's our lesson number 2. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, please look on my YouTube channel and tick that you like it, and then come back for the next lesson. The next lesson, lesson 3, I think I'll try and paint a picture without a pencil or anything like that. Just let's paint it using the brushes we've got and make a picture up. See how it goes. But for now, goodbye people, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.